if it is showing. It says live. It just, let's make sure edit privacy, public, change audience. Okay, so we might be public on Facebook
Okay.
at the minimum. We
That's
going
fine.
we gonna do this one way or another.
Yes, look, that's fine. That's fine.
Let me just check. We on YouTube. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold
Okay.
on. Let's see.
Okay. Okay.
All we need is for you to show up. But if you don't want to, that's okay. Okay. It looks like we on and popping. Whoo,
Okay.
Jesus, we fought our way here, but here we are, an hour later, after so many
Listen.
technical difficulties.
Oh my goodness. And a whole hour later, okay? The enemy was on 1000.
He was trying us, okay? He was testing our
Yes.
faith, our patience, but we did it. I'm so proud of you. Let me give you a round of applause at the
Thank you.
beginning of
Thank
the
you. Thank
episode.
you.
So I guess we can get started, ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen. Welcome to the Millionaire Mindset X, where we bring people to the table for multiplied conversations. Here, we do not gatekeep, we give access and we help you shift your mind from lack to abundance. I am your host, Fire Ash. And if you are ready to take your mindset to the next level, I just want to say, hey, friend, welcome to the table. On today, I have with me my sister. And I'm so excited for this conversation because we had a conversation beforehand and we were
Mhm.
talking about trauma, and it's so cool because as we were conversing about trauma, we ended up starting to share our stories. And so on today, I'm gonna cut straight to the chase. And I'm gonna let my sis introduce herself because we spent so much time trying to get this together. And so, my first question that I always like to ask my guests is, who are you beyond the bio?
So I am Larasha. I am a Southern Belle. I am someone who enjoys sports. I
Yeah.
like picnics, brunch, just traveling, reading, and pouring into others. That
Yeah.
is who I am beyond my bio.
I love how simple it was.
Yes, very simple. Very simple.
So I have a lot of questions that I wanted to ask you on tonight.
Okay.
But the first one, I just want to start with the first one, and that was, when it comes to your background, you are a positive psychology coach. So I want to know, for the audience, what does that even mean to be a positive psychology coach?
So, as a positive psychology coach, basically, I am the person that helps you to set goals and make sure that I am providing you with tools and resources that are practical so that you can maintain those goals. So, just really being a support system to
Mm.
you, whether it's in your personal life or it's, in your professional life when it comes to goal setting.
Mm. So how did you get into actually becoming a positive psychology coach? Because if I'm honest, I've never heard of this until I met you.
Yeah, so I will say for me again, my trauma, just as
Mm.
I've been on my healing journey, I have always been a goal setter. But to have that support has not always been there. So I
Yeah.
wanted to do something that I felt like would help someone else as they're on their journey.
Yeah.
So I use my positive psychology coaching to help someone who has experienced trauma to
Yeah.
set goals and to work towards overcoming that trauma through goal setting.
Mm. So now, when you were a kid, did you want to go into psychology as a kid, or was there a point in your life where you realized that this is what you were called to?
So no, actually as a child I wanted to be a lawyer.
Me too.
Yeah, psychology was not on my mind. So I didn't get into psychology until college. And
Mm,
so I am a criminal justice major. And
mm,
so with that, I thought about being a probation officer. So my thoughts were, okay, if I'm going to be a probation officer, then I need to really be able to understand those that I will be working with, like
mm,
understanding the mindset and stuff. So that is where I picked up psychology, being able to just understand people. I was a correctional officer for a while as well with that. And so
mm.
now working in the human service field, I am still helping people, with the mindset, helping them go from being dependent on the government to being self sufficient.
That's good. I There was a point in my life last year, if I'm being honest with myself, where
Hmm.
I had to acknowledge that I needed the government's help.
Hmm.
I will say I do believe that in my adult life I have been truly blessed because like in my career I never went without. Like when I had a
Hmm.
salary paying job, I literally was doing pretty good. Even though
Hmm.
my family called me the Tommy of the family, I was doing really good. And so I was bringing in income to where I'd never had to rely on like government assistance. And so last
Hmm.
year I got stuck in this place where, girl, I ain't had nothing. I had nothing in my
Hmm.
pocket,
Hmm.
nothing in my bank account. My savings was gone. I had
Yeah.
nothing. And I remember having to like humble myself and be like, okay, I need some assistance. And I remember when I finally said, like, okay, I need the assistance, I said, you know
Yeah.
what? No shade at anybody else, but this is my testimony. I said, but I don't want to stay on this. I don't want to
Yes.
stay here. I want
Yes.
to be able to work my way back to me being self sufficient. And so,
Yes.
literally, I think a month ago, or maybe 2 months ago, they had no, at the end of the year, they asked me to do like a
Renewal.
interview. Yeah, renewal.
Hmm.
Thank you. Because I'm
Hmm.
like, what am I trying to say? And so they asked me to do a renewal, and I was like, I would be a liar. My conscience was like, I think it was my conscience and the Holy Spirit was like, you would be lying if you take their money when you
Yeah.
know you making enough money. You
Yeah.
basically didn't replace your salary, little girl. Like you making more
Yeah.
money than you did back then. And so
Hmm.
I remember some of my family members were like, keep taking that, keep getting that food. But it was
No,
like my
no.
mindset was like, I desire to live in a place of abundance as Jesus said. That's my whole thing.
Yeah.
I want to live life and life more abundantly. And if I am the head, not the tail, if I am supposed to be the lender and not the borrower, then
Yeah.
at some point I gotta advance from staying in and this is my testimony, staying in this poverty mindset where I feel
Yeah.
like I have to just get by with just enough
Yeah.
versus God is calling me to more than enough.
Yeah. 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 That's right. And that's unfortunate. You know, a lot of times we see generational
Right.
things when it comes to, relying on the system. And
Yeah.
again, I feel like that's trauma,
Yeah.
because you are coming from a mindset that makes you think that you have to be in poverty, like you have
Yeah.
to depend on the government, like
Yes.
you can't surpass that. And
Yeah.
so, it would be my hopes that any client that I may have been in contact with, that I was able to pour into them and encourage them to go beyond that, because you don't have to be what your past is. You don't have to
Yeah.
be what your environment is. If
Yes.
you are able to get out there and work, and find a way to take care of yourself and not have to depend on the government, then do that. Now, it's nothing wrong and no judgment, like you said, because
Right.
I have had to, even being someone who works for the government,
Yeah.
there's been a time where I have had to ask for assistance as well
Yeah.
with paying, a bill or something.
Yeah.
So there's no judgment, none whatsoever. It's just about discipline. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, it then becomes about discipline. And
Yeah.
what are you doing to make sure that you don't stay in that
Right.
place?
Yeah. So I want to know, you said something very crucial about not allowing yourself to be defined by your environment. I want
Mhm.
to know from your perspective, why is it that we often allow our environment to dictate how we think or see ourselves?
So for me, and this is just my opinion, again,
Mm.
I think it is trauma.
Yeah.
We stay stuck. We don't allow ourselves to think beyond that. So I know that in my study
Yeah.
of psychology, a lot of times we operate from the mindset and the age in which we experience this trauma.
Mm.
So say if you were 6 years old, or 18,
Yeah.
and you experience some type of trauma, if you don't intentionally work on your healing, you're
Mm.
going to stay stuck in that place. So I'll give
That's
you an
good.
example. My mom passed away when I was 18.
Mm.
And so to me, I was coming in adulthood, and I just felt like she left me at a time where it was very crucial for me.
Yeah.
So I realized that a lot of the decisions that I was making was from an 18-year-old's
That's
mindset.
good.
I
Yeah.
wasn't operating from an adult mindset until I went to therapy and was
Mm.
intentional about getting to the root cause of some of my behaviors.
Yeah.
Once I did that, that is when I saw the difference in the way that I make decisions, because I'm
Mm.
now operating from an adult mindset
Yeah.
versus the environment that I was in and the age that I was at when my mother passed away.
Yeah. Wow. I love how you mentioned it's the age that it's like you get stuck in this age, and that
Mhm.
age and that time of life is what controls the decision making.
Correct.
And
Mhm.
so I had to do this, like, I don't know how to describe it. I had to do like this experiment with the Holy Spirit. I would love to
Mhm.
use a different phrase for it, but that's kind of the best words I can
Mhm.
put into terminology. And so I did this experiment with the Holy Spirit where the Holy Spirit started telling me to go back. And I
Mhm.
think that, for many of us, like going back to that place, sometimes it can be a hard place to revisit,
Yes. Yes.
especially because oftentimes we get stuck in that place, and the
Yes.
way that we see that place is so wounded that
Mhm.
when we go back we get stuck into the memory of what happened. And for me, the Holy Spirit said, okay, so I want you to go back, but now let me retrain your eyes to view it differently.
Yes.
I want you to look at it and align it with my scripture, and how God says in his word, he says all things work together for
For
the
my
good of those
good.
who are
Mhm.
who love God and are called according to his purpose. and
Yes.
and so when he took me back, he started showing me how he was present in every part of my situation. He started showing me even how he was graceful and merciful. He started showing me so
Mm.
much of where he was in that
Yes.
process, that when I began to relook at not just the decisions, as I began to relook at where I was in time, I realized I had a different perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so with that thought in mind, you know what are your thoughts when it comes to like revisiting the past and restructuring how we see our past trauma?
So revisiting the past, I think, is good. However, when you revisit it, you have to make sure that you are in a place where you're able to forgive.
Oh.
I think that when you have experienced childhood trauma, you revisit, it's painful,
Mm.
you become angry,
Yeah.
and you tend to hold on to that.
Right.
But we are instructed to forgive.
Right.
So when you revisit it, you have to be ready and willing to do the work and move beyond that.
Yeah.
If you are not in that place, I don't recommend revisiting the past. And
Yeah.
I'll say that, from a place of me being I experienced childhood sexual trauma. And so
Hmm.
when I experienced that, the person, who did it was someone that I trusted. And
Yeah.
so I thought that I forgave them, but I realized through this round of therapy that I
Yeah.
hadn't forgiven them.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you what's so crazy is this person never showed up in my dreams before, like
Hmm.
ever. About 2 weeks ago, this person showed up in my dreams.
Oh
And
wow.
I feel like that was peace, because when I had therapy, I had a therapy session probably like 2 days later. And I
Uh-huh.
told my therapist about it. And the question was, how did you feel? And
Yeah.
I was like, I actually didn't feel no ways.
Mm,
You know,
wow.
I didn't feel no ways about it because I'm on the other side. I'm no longer
Mm,
allowing trauma to dictate my life. I'm
yeah.
no longer allowing trauma to cause me to think that I'm less than.
Right.
I'm no longer allowing trauma to be a barrier. You know,
Mm,
so I would encourage someone who may be stuck in that place to just really pray about it,
yeah.
seek therapy, but be
Yeah.
intentional, when it comes to therapy, and be ready to do the work, because it is a beautiful feeling when you're on the other side of it.
Yeah. If you could give words or definition to what trauma is, what would that be?
To me, I would say trauma is isolating,
Mm,
trauma is harmful,
mm,
trauma is, or it tries to make you blame self.
mm,
Trauma tries to make you not trust.
mm, yeah.
Trauma is a barrier,
Yeah.
and trauma is a mindset.
Mm. Whew. Hmm. Let's park it there. Of all the things that you said, I love that you said trauma is a mindset.
Mhm.
It makes me think about the scenario that in our minds we can be sitting in a cell and the door is open but we don't walk through it.
Mhm.
And it makes me think about I'm gonna go back to the scripture that I based this podcast on, how Jesus said that he came to give us life and life more abundantly. But the
Mhm.
thing is, do we want the life? Do we want it? Because he can
Mm.
give us anything. He can lead us to the water, but he can't make us drink it. He
That's
can
right.
tell us who he is. God can tell us who he is. He can show us that he's faithful. He can show us that he's unchanging, but yet do we believe it? I believe that
Mhm.
there is a space between knowledge and belief where
Mhm.
we may know something. I may know of God. I may know that people say he's faithful. I may know that he say he can change and renew my mind,
Mhm.
but do I believe it? Because that's a
Mhm.
whole totally different thing. I
Correct.
love I love the passage where the I think it was, I can't remember exactly who it was. There was a father that came to Jesus and the disciples and he wanted his son to be healed, and
Mhm.
Jesus said, "Do you believe?" And he
Believe
said,
it.
"I
Yeah.
believe, but help me
Mhm.
with my unbelief." And so when you said
Mm.
trauma is that mindset, I do believe that in order for us to overcome the trauma, we do have to have this sense of awareness that we are impacted, that our visual is impacted. Because for me, even as I've gone through some therapy, like the first time I ever realized that I was I was traumatized was
Mhm.
when I went to therapy. In college, the
Mm.
funny thing is, in college, they gave us free therapy, and I
Mhm.
had never done it before, and I was like, I was the person like, oh, if I'm getting it for free, let me go ahead and sign up because I love to talk to
Mhm.
somebody outside of my own brain. And
Mhm.
so I remember the lady asking me, she said, "Have you ever been in any traumatic situations?" And I was like, "Nah, like life been good. I've been, life
Mhm.
has been really good." And I love what she did was she started asking me just more questions. So the first session we really didn't hit too much of anything. And then the
Mhm.
next session when I went back to her, she just started asking me more questions. And so I started divulging into my life. And I remember saying, like, yeah, I had an abortion. I said, yeah, I had been in a domestic abuse or a domestic violence relationship.
Mhm.
I remember admitting, like, oh yeah, my grandmother had passed away. I had been robbed at gunpoint. And in my mind, the way that I processed these things, I thought that it was normal. Like this was something to be
Mhm.
expected that comes with life. And when she said, Ashley,
Those are
that's
traumas.
trauma,
That's trauma. Mhm.
I broke down and started crying because I didn't realize that I was becoming insensitive or desensitized to what trauma looks like.
Mhm. You compartmentalized it. That's what a
Yes.
lot of people do. They compartmentalize trauma so that they suppress the
Right.
memories, and so it's not until something happens that tends to trigger,
Yes.
like, one, it could be something simple as you seeing a color or something, or
Yeah.
it's an object or whatever, but something triggers your mind, and then
Yeah.
that's when everything starts to come back.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people compartmentalize, or they just decompress the memories.
And I think that that's what I was doing. I would decompress. Like at one point in my life, I used to tell people I have such bad memory, and I genuinely think it's because I had this rule, and
Mm.
don't judge me on the rule because I didn't know what I was doing, girl. I had this rule that when something hurt my feelings, I would acknowledge it for maybe 3 days max. And after
Mm.
that, we just pretend it doesn't exist. It was like the sweep under the rug method. We
Okay.
pretend it doesn't exist.
Hmm.
It doesn't affect me. It doesn't bother me. And it wasn't until the rug started getting so intense, there was so much dirt under the rug that it was becoming harder for me to hide. Like I used to have
Hmm.
this persona in my mind. I thought the persona that I had was like I was unaffected. I was unemotional. And so when people would hurt
Hmm.
me, I wouldn't display it in
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 front of
showing
them.
people. I one
Hmm.
thing I sucked at was being vulnerable because I didn't want people to know that they hurt me. And
Yeah.
so by building all of that up, the way that I would begin to, I guess, release what was hurting is I was a very shady person. Like my jokes that
Mm.
have some truth locked in there.
Yeah.
I call you out real quick, throwing some shade, and it was like, but I'm really actually saying what I'm hurting or feeling inside.
Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely feel that, and I can say I have been that type of person as well.
Mm,
So I will use social media,
mm,
and make these passive aggressive posts.
yeah,
You hurt me, I'm gonna say something, and I'm gonna let you know that I'm talking about you. I don't have to ask you or whatever, but it's gonna be
right,
passive aggressive,
yeah,
or I'm gonna share something that I feel like pertains to what's going on. And
yeah,
so again, it comes to the shifting of the mindset. When I begin to focus on myself and become intentional on my journey, that's
yeah,
not, I don't focus on things like that. I focus on me, and just
yeah,
making sure that, okay, I come to you and I communicate. Now
yeah,
we'll let you know if something bothers me, or
yeah.
how I feel, because I know that my perspective and perception is not always right.
That's
So I
true.
want
That's
to be
good.
able to sit and hear what you have to say as well. And then, if we can move forward, then that's great.
Yeah,
However, if not, it's okay. We talked about it, and
yeah,
we decided to go our separate ways. It's no ill intent or anything like that, but we're just not in alignment anymore. We've
yeah.
outgrown each other. That's
That's
it.
good. And
Hmm.
I appreciate you for saying that because one thing that I've tried to prioritize is communication and
Hmm.
not doing it from a place of one thing that I really try to prioritize is healthy communication and
Yeah.
expression to where if I have to express how my feelings were hurt, that I'm not playing this blame game and saying you did this, but I can healthily say this is how I felt when this happened. And I
Yeah.
notice in conversations that when I vocalize like this is just how I felt, and I'm not necessarily playing this blame game, oftentimes the person is more open to hear what I'm saying versus me
Yeah.
attacking them and saying, yeah, you just trash because yada yada
Yeah.
yada yada. I'm just no, I'm just expressing myself. And also I'm learning to do it from a place of love. I
Yes,
had to have a
yes.
hard conversation with my dad a few months ago and let him know that something hurt my feelings. And before
Yeah.
that, I wouldn't have said anything. This is a lesson I had to learn. I wouldn't have said anything initially because it was like I was trying to have this superhero complex where I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to hurt him by admitting that
Mm-hmm.
I was hurt by something because I love my
Yeah.
dad. And by me doing that, someone that said you're doing the relationship a disservice because you're not allowing him the opportunity to address what is hurting you. Because what if he just doesn't know
No.
that this
Yep.
is hurting you or
Yep.
bothering you? And so I had a conversation with my dad, and I remember telling him, like, dad, like, I love you. I just want you to know that when this thing happened, it bothered me. It hurt my feelings. And I told him, like, usually I wouldn't say anything out of protection of your feelings, but I have to let you know, like, these are my feelings.
Yeah.
And I love how the conversation turned out because my dad didn't even realize that what was happening was hurting my feelings. And he was
Yeah.
like, you know what? Let me be more intentional about not doing that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's really what it's about, having those hard conversations. Again, people don't know. Sometimes they just don't know.
Right. Yeah.
They don't know, but if you take a moment to share with them and like you said, say it from a place of love, you're letting them know, hey, I'm saying this from a place of love because I
Yeah.
value our
Yes.
relationship, I value the
Yes.
friendship, but this is how I feel,
Yeah.
and then give them the opportunity to share
Yes.
if they choose. And if not, then again, that's okay. You
Yeah.
were able to share, and it came again from a place of love, and you
Yeah.
made them aware.
Yes. And he did share some things on his side as well. And I just love that it actually brought us closer together.
Good, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
There was a
good.
scripture that came to mind when you were talking that I thought fit this moment perfectly, but I forgot it. So
It'll come back to you.
it'll come back.
Yeah.
Another question that I have is when it comes to the clients that you work with, is there a common trait or just a common mindset that you see that they may have as it relates to trauma?
Um, Not feeling confident in themselves.
Mm,
When you have experienced, it doesn't matter what type of trauma. I will say specifically
yeah,
though, childhood sexual trauma, that
yeah,
can play a big part on your self confidence. So then,
mm,
you tend to lack self esteem because
yeah,
of that, and
yeah.
you're looking for validation,
That's
in
good.
all the wrong places.
Right.
So that is the most common thing. It's the lack of self confidence. And I recognize it because it was something that I lacked as well.
That's real. Yeah,
So, just being able to help them see it and shift it. And of
yeah,
course, with shifting it, that's affirmations. That's something that I'm
yeah,
very big on is affirmations. Affirmations have helped me. Affirmations
yeah,
continue to help me. So, with anything that I do, it is really involving affirmations,
yeah.
from my body care products to just working with my
That's
clients.
good.
If I'm doing an event, I am implementing something to deal with affirmations, because I just feel as though when you shift your mindset, you shift your life.
Right. I definitely agree. And that's a big reason why I actually started the podcast because I realized that everything starts up here. It starts in my mind and
Hmm.
how I view things. And I told myself, I said, you know what? I'm going on this journey where I learn what it's like to have a millionaire mindset. What does it look like to have my mindset
Hmm.
align with what my father said about me? And then looking for guests who will help me to shift that mindset to begin to align with his truth as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And that's, something you said with that. Um, you have to surround yourself with people as well who are going to motivate you,
Yeah.
who are going to pour into you, but you can also pour into them as well.
Yeah.
Because when you begin to shift your mindset, the energy that you put out is what
Yeah.
you want to get
Right.
back. And
Yeah.
so you want to make
That's good.
sure that you're aligning yourself with people who are your present, not
That's
your
good.
past.
Dang, that's good.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you align yourself with people who are your present and not your past.
Yep. Because I mean, we tend to sometimes. I've learned trauma bond.
Right. Yeah.
That was something that I didn't really learn about until I started therapy, and
Mm-hmm.
then just being in the positive psychology courses. A lot of times when we formulate relationships, of course it's off of things that we like,
Yeah.
but as you continue on those relationships, sometimes you realize that it's trauma
Right.
as to why you and this person may have become friends, as to why
Yeah.
you and this person may have ended up in a relationship.
Yeah.
Remove the trauma off the table,
Yeah.
y'all might not have anything in
Y'all might
common.
not have nothing to talk about. Yeah.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah. And the sad truth is, I had a friendship that I ended up having to not necessarily let go of, but just kind of put in some space in between. I
Mm-hmm.
realized we were so bonded by a common trauma that we experienced, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like as things started to progress as far as like healing was happening,
Mm-hmm.
I realized that we were still clinging onto the trauma that we
Yeah.
experienced. And one of the hardest decisions I had to make was God had told me that I needed to let go. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I don't want to. Like, I love my friend. And he gave me a scenario of, he said, imagine two twins in the same class and them
Mm-hmm.
being like super, super close. He said, do you think that they will learn better together or learn better separated? And I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
imagine if they're separated, they won't bother each other so much
Mm-hmm.
that they will actually have room to grow. And God had told me, he said, this may hurt. I love how gentle God is, because he was showing me that it may hurt a
Mm-hmm.
bit, but it's
Yeah.
really for the greater good of what I'm trying to do for you and
Yeah.
that person. And
Yeah.
if I allow you to stay connected and attached to, number one, the friendship is going to plummet even more because there's so much
Mm.
bonding in the trauma that you'll stay stuck bonded here when I'm trying to elevate you. And another thing God was showing me is that he needed to begin to heal that little girl. He started showing me
Yes.
where the little girl was
Yes.
wounded, and why
Mm-hmm.
even in certain friendships, why I I really have great, like majority of my friendships, I have a lot of great friendships. But there are
Mm-hmm.
some cases where I'm like, well, why didn't this work out, Lord? Because
Yeah.
if I'm not good at anything, I'm good at being a great friend. That's like one of the things I try to star in my
Mm-hmm.
life.
Mm-hmm.
And God was showing me like some of the areas where I was not starring as a good friend, and he was
Mm.
showing me it was because the little girl was still making those decisions and those calls.
Yes.
And and if I didn't tend to her, I would continue to make those same decisions, especially
Yes.
because he knows, the Lord knows, and I say this almost every podcast,
Yes.
he knows I want to get married.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I believe he was showing me like, I ain't finna send you one of my sons and you out here bleeding on him. Baby.
Yeah.
So so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely that's so important. I don't think that we look at ourselves sometimes.
I agree.
I love what you said about being a good friend. I know that there are times that I have not been a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
I have not been a good friend. And it caused more harm sometimes, I feel like,
Mm.
than good.
Yeah.
And it was because of trauma.
Right.
It was because of trauma.
Yeah.
So now when it comes to friendships, I'm a little bit again more intentional about my friendships, and
Uh-huh.
I try to express myself versus holding things in
Girl.
and listen. I
Yeah.
wasn't a good listener before as well.
Yeah.
And so now I listen, and or if it's something via text, I try to
Yeah.
make sure that I take time to
Yes.
read it and process. I don't
Yeah.
respond right then.
Right.
And I love that about me.
Yeah.
Now, I will stop and I'll say, okay, let me process this.
Right.
And I'll read it, and then I'll read it again, because how I may have read it the first time,
Mm.
my interpretation could have been off.
That's good.
So then when I go back to read it again,
Yeah.
I'm now seeing it from a different lens. And a lot of
Right.
times as well, I also will pray and say, God, help me to see it through your eyes and not through my
Right.
eyes.
That's so good.
Because seeing it through my eyes is the flesh. The flesh is
Right.
going to be quick to respond. But
Yeah.
when you ask God to help you see it through his eyes, then you're more gentle. you're
Yeah.
more forgiving, you're
Yeah.
more understanding. That's when you apply the long suffering and stuff as
Right.
well. That's where
That's
you
good.
apply grace.
That's so good.
So,
That is that
yeah.
that's really good. I think you just had having this conversation just gave me a realization that for most of my life, being a good friend actually came from seeking validation. I was
Mm,
secretly seeking validation that if I if I prove myself worthy to these people, then that makes me worthy.
yep.
Like I remember when I got a car in high school. Well, actually, let me go back. Let's go back a little bit. When I was in elementary, I used to get bullied because I was very quiet.
Mm,
I didn't
okay.
talk a lot. I just kind of went with the flow of whoever I was a friend to. I just went
Mm-hmm.
whatever they did, whatever they said. I just followed them. When I got
Okay.
home, that's when I would start to like talk. But at school, I was pretty much like the quiet friend. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember after elementary, when I got to middle school, I was still the quiet friend, still very quiet. And then I moved to ninth grade, and I remember I watched so many like makeover movies. I was like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
about to give myself a personal makeover internally, and I'm about to start being friends with everybody. Like because
Mm-hmm.
I remember like being bullied and always
Yeah.
being quiet. I never felt like I had a voice. I also remember when I was younger, in the fifth grade, I had got bullied so much that I got into my first fight because I was just so tired of
Mm,
getting. I was so tired of being verbally attacked or
yeah.
said or people saying like, "Oh, she ain't gonna do nothing," because I was just so
Mm-hmm.
quiet. And I remember I used to practice every day at home, like, you know what? I'm gonna stand up for myself. I'm gonna stand up for myself. And then one day
Mm-hmm.
I stood up for myself and I got suspended for the first time in my life. And my
Mm,
parents were like so surprised because they're like, what? Like, Ashley, what? And
yeah.
it was because I was so tired of
Um,
taking this abuse. And as we're talking, I'm processing trauma yet again. And
yep.
so fast forward to high school, I had this mindset, everybody's gonna be my friend. They'll
Mm-hmm.
love me. And I remember I used to speak to everybody. I gave everybody a hug at school. I remembered everybody's name because I wanted people to like me. I no longer wanted
Mm-hmm.
to feel like invisible because I even called myself the invisible girl in my journal. I was like, I
Oh
just feel
wow.
so
Mm-hmm.
invisible. And so it was like I wanted to make myself visible because I felt like that's where my worth would come from. If they
Yeah.
liked me, then maybe that would make me worthy. And
Yeah.
I remember moving forward into like where I am currently as an adult, I have learned
Mm-hmm.
that now I help and I love from a place of I love you, but I also learned to love me. And I
That's right.
also learned to adopt some boundaries because one thing I had to learn
Yes.
is people will treat you however they want to treat you if you
Yep.
don't teach them how to treat you.
That's
And
right.
I used to get so offended when I would get my feelings hurt. Like, okay, I'm giving all these people rides, but ain't nobody giving me no gas. I'm doing all of this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm overextending myself. I'm burning out. But the moment I want to take a day off, everybody mad. Like, I used to get so offended. Like, why are they acting like this when I do all this other stuff? And then
Yep.
I realized, park your brakes, Ash. You can say no. You can do
Mm,
this. You can do that. And you don't need somebody's permission.
to do it. Yep.
Exactly.
That's right. That's right. And I think that validation, who that right
Woo.
there.
Yeah.
When I tell you, as an adult,
Yeah.
validation has cost me. Validation has been expensive. Validation has gotten me into some situations,
Yeah.
just again, financially, that I would not pray for my enemy to go
Yeah.
through if I
Hmm.
had an enemy, you know.
Yeah.
So that was one of the biggest things that I had to overcome was that validation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I think that a lot of us who have experienced trauma, I feel like validation is something that we all deal with.
Right. Right. And to prove, it's like we feel like we have to prove something.
Yes, to someone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and it's not worth it sometimes. It's just not.
it's not. But that also goes to if we think about like some of these people that buy certain things just to as the people say, clout, just to have clout or to have some kind of recognition. They
Yep.
buy the fanciest stuff. And I think that if we take time to dig into our reasons of why, like asking
Yep.
ourselves, why do I do this? Why do I, we would get to more
Mm-hmm.
of the root of why my behavior, why do I have to do this in order for me to feel a certain way? Like
Yeah.
me, girl, I go get something at Goodwill, Macy's. I get it wherever I get it. For a long time, I never
Okay.
had a real purse. I guess a real purse according to the standards. And
Mm-hmm.
and now, like now, I like some of the purses, but my identity to why I like the purse, like I have a Michael Kors book bag. My
Mm-hmm.
identity as to why I like it now is because it got more space. It's actually a good. I done had this book on for
Yeah.
time, and it stands the test of time. So instead of me thinking like, oh, I gotta get all the fanciest Michael Kors because everybody, it makes me
Else got it.
somebody. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, this just some good quality, and it's worth the
Yeah.
money if you pay for it. You know.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
So another one of the questions that I had for you is how has trauma impacted your life and your walk with God?
So as far as my life, there was a point in time where I thought that, I had to do certain things for a man to like me,
Same.
you know, um and I wasn't loving myself,
Yeah.
it wasn't about me. And
Right.
so when I began to dig deeper into my walk with Christ,
Uh huh.
that's when I realized that I am beautifully and wonderfully made.
That part right there.
A man the right man is going
Right.
to love me
Yes.
for me.
Yes.
You know, even friendship wise, I
Right.
feel like who I'm supposed to be in alignment with, that's who I'm
Yes.
going to be in alignment with.
Yeah.
The rooms that I'm supposed to be in, God's going to place me in those rooms.
Yes.
It's not going to be because of this person, this name, or whatever.
Right.
It's because God says that I'm supposed to be there.
Yes. Yeah.
So, with the trauma, again, it was the mindset. The
Mm.
mindset trauma tried to keep me isolated.
That's good.
God says, no, it's not good for a man to be alone.
Right.
That doesn't mean intimate wise.
Right.
Friendship plays a part in that as well.
Right. That's good.
Family plays a part in that. You think, oh, I don't need nobody, this, that, and the third. That's trauma.
Right. That's
That's
good.
trauma telling you that. But when you read God's word, that's not what God says.
It's not.
And then when I was disobedient, I could just look back on just some of the things that I was doing and how I know that God was not pleased,
Yeah.
because when he wasn't pleased, he let me know.
Very much so.
When I tell you he let me know, he let me
Yes.
know. And then once I got in order, that's when things began to flourish.
Right.
I'll tell you real quick. So there was a guy that I was dating once upon a time. And this guy, I knew I wasn't supposed to be dating him.
I
I,
understand
I
that.
knew I knew I wasn't supposed to be dating
I
him.
understand that.
And so I was, going to see him, all kind of stuff, honey.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how God sat me down.
Hmm.
I was on my way to see this guy one
Hmm.
day. My car cut off.
Oh.
My car cut off. And so, I get it towed and stuff. And, I'm thinking I'm getting it fixed and all of that. Here I go back up trying to go see
Mm.
him.
Yeah.
The car cuts off again.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, at this point, God said, okay, I'm going to fix you.
Look.
I'm going to put a hole in the engine.
Dang. Wow.
So now you're going to have to go get a new car.
Yeah.
Now, in this moment, I'm like, where am I going to get the money from to go get a new car?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
But guess what? Once I made the decision and I told this person, I was like, you know what? I can't, I know that I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm gonna have to walk away from this
Yeah.
situation. Guess what? Got a car, got a new job, and everything.
You know what's so funny about that? Every time I done left the red signal and finally said, "Okay, God, let me just do what you say," my life be flourishing. I kid you not. I was in a famine because I was in a situation. And as soon as
Yep.
I said, "You know what, God,
Yeah.
if you just give me that one sign I need, I'm going to let it
Yep.
go." Had 80,000 signs and I let it go. And then I was like,
Yep.
wow. So the famine's over? Okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
Yep. That's all I had to do. Like that. That's all I had
That,
to do.
hold on,
He was
wait.
just waiting.
I
He
say
was just
stuff
waiting for
like,
me.
I say stuff like, if that's all I had to do, why you ain't just said it in the first place? And then I have to also repeat, you been saying that, my bad. You right. You white big fella. You been saying that. I just wasn't listening. You right.
Like it's so funny. You call him big fella. I call him big dog. You right, big dog. You
Okay,
got it.
big dog.
You
Look,
right,
I say
big
that
dog. You
too.
got
You
it.
you got it. Let me get out your way, because clearly I'm tripping. It's me.
and that
I'm the problem.
And that right there, what you just said, I had to
Yep.
tell someone this the other day. The problem is we be trying to do his job and
Thank
he ain't
you.
ask us
Thank
to
you.
do
Thank you very
nothing.
much. Yep.
He ain't ask us for our help.
That part.
He ain't ask us for our help.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem.
Literally. I used to be like, hold on, don't worry, God, I got it. Hold on, wait. But before that, Lord, blah blah blah. If you can, I believe you. Da da da. Hold on, Lord, I got it. Don't worry about it. I got it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you good? I'ma drive real quick. And then I started realizing I keep crashing. So maybe you know what? I don't even know how to drive. You got this. You what they say? Jesus,
Jesus
take the wheel.
take the wheel.
Take the wheel, big dog.
Take the
Cause I don't
whole
even
take the whole car.
take the car. You know what? You know what? I don't even want to. I don't even know what I'm doing. Let this be driver's training the rest of my life. Can I get the fake break? Let me fake break, God, because
Yes.
clearly I'm real breaking on wrong situations, Lord.
Listen, what they say, passenger princess, I will be. Go
That,
ahead. You drive, I will be a passenger princess with no problem.
I say that every episode. I literally say that every episode. God, I'm in my passenger seat princess mode.
Yeah.
I just want to vibe as you drive. Oh, you hear
That's
me?
it. That's
Whatever
it.
you want me to
I'm
do.
over here chilling. Hey, you got it. Soft life.
Soft life only. Soft life me, please. I ain't even a strong soldier. I'm a soft soldier. I believe you. I trust
Yes.
you. Based off of all the stuff I done been through, God, I trust you. You didn't.
Yep.
I don't even want to test my limits. I'm like the kid who got burnt by the fire. I don't even want to go by the stove. You
Listen,
got it.
I don't even want to put my finger on it. I don't want to feel nothing.
I'm not even
Yeah.
hungry. I
Yeah.
fast. I don't. Whatever I can do to not get in your way,
Yes.
cause
You
cause
got it.
when you said you knew you weren't supposed to talk to that person, I
Knew it.
had a very, and I mean very similar situation some years ago. Like I think it was after we got out of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, if I'm just being real, I had very similar situations. Let me not lie and make
Mm.
y'all think it was one. It was a few of them. He was like,
Okay.
I feel like if we were to add a sound,
Yeah.
like don't touch that ass, and my little
Yep.
insecurities was like,
I'm gonna try anyway. What's wrong, God? Like, it's all right. Like, yeah, nah. See, I don't even
it,
do that now. If
I
I
don't do
meet
that now at
someone,
all.
yeah. If
Yeah,
I meet someone now, I am praying, God, yeah, big dog. If this ain't it, go ahead and remove them.
going
That's how I do. Like, go ahead and remove them. Like, let's not even go through this.
that part.
Go ahead and remove them, and I am okay with you removing them.
I think that I have developed such a level of patience because of my impatience, because I was
Mm.
rushing God. It's like, nah, you got this. Like,
Yeah.
it might have taken Abraham and Sarah a while to have Isaac, but that's okay, my dog.
Yep.
That's okay, big fella.
Yes.
Like, look, you told Sarah, is anything too hard for God? So, no, it ain't. Nope, ain't nothing too hard for you. I'm just
That's
hands
right.
off.
Yep,
This
that's
is
right.
what the car is called, where it's hands free driving. This is hand.
That's yeah. My hands are off. I'm good.
My hands are off. Okay,
I'm so good.
and and if we allow ourselves to, trauma can teach us how to show up in the present. It
That's
can.
right.
And
That's right.
oh George, oh Lord, when you
Hmm.
said do the work, when you said that, I felt that, because I keep saying on every episode, it's just like trauma keep coming up. I keep saying that I have been learning to do the work, and
Hmm.
what initially felt scary is actually so freeing. Like, now that I'm
Yeah.
addressing stuff, I literally have been just telling people left and right, like, yeah, little girl inside, she getting healed and she getting freedom. She done got some
Hmm.
deliverance. And I feel, I honestly feel, if I'm being honest, I feel unstoppable. And I want to make sure I articulate this as best as I can. I feel unstoppable in the sense that I feel like now I can allow God to, I can trust him in all areas of my life, and not just
Yes.
some of the areas, because I used to hold on to portions of my life where it was like, God, I believe you for the job, I believe you for the house, I believe you for the
Hmm.
bills, but I
Hmm.
don't believe you over here. Let me hold that one
Hmm.
down. And so now I
Hmm.
feel like, you know what, God, because I have this wholeness, or this freedom internally, it's like, no, I really trust you, and I trust you with me.
Yes, yes, yes. And that's what's so important. He asked us, just to have the faith of a mustard seed.
That part, yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
And just a little bit of faith. Now, it may not happen when you want it to
Right.
happen,
That's good.
but it's going to.
Yeah.
It is going to. You just have to be patient. You just
Right.
have to be patient.
And
Mm-hmm.
and wouldn't you say that you could apply that to the therapy journey as well? Is having to be patient. It might not, the
Oh
healing
yeah.
you're looking for may not look like when you think it should be done, but yeah. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yes, absolutely. So, I think that sometimes people go into therapy thinking that it's going to be an overnight thing. Like,
That's
okay, I'm going
good.
to go to one or two sessions and
That's
that's
good.
going to be it.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. It
Yeah.
doesn't work like that. Again, being patient and being open and being honest
Yeah.
with yourself. When
Yes.
you are truly wanting to overcome something, when you have been struggling with navigating, just on your journey and you just
Yeah.
get tired,
Yeah.
you relinquish that control. And
Right.
it can be scary when you're relinquishing that control,
Yeah.
but it's worth it. Like
Right.
my therapist, we've been together now for almost a year.
Oh wow.
And when I tell you, I love talking to her. I love talking to her. She gives me homework.
Mm.
We process. I never knew about a feelings wheel
Oh wow.
until I started working with her. So there are moments where when I'm processing stuff, I'll pull out that feelings wheel
Mm.
and I'll say, and I'll acknowledge, because that's another thing that trauma
Mm.
doesn't want us to do sometimes. Trauma does not want us to acknowledge our feelings.
That's good.
And so me pulling out that feelings wheel, it
That's good.
allows me to acknowledge my feelings.
Yeah.
Yes, I am hurt. Yes, I am angry. Yes, I am
Yes.
disappointed. Okay, I have acknowledged it.
That's good.
Now, what can we do to shift that mindset
That's good.
and not stay in that place?
That is so good.
So, yeah.
As far as therapy goes, for anyone who may be interested in possibly pursuing therapy more after this episode, do you have any resources that you could share with us as to how to get that journey started?
So, for me, I actually reached out. So I'm a member of a sorority, and I actually
Mm.
reached out to my sorority sisters, and
Mm.
I asked them for some resources.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the type of therapist I was looking for, I was specific when I
Yeah.
asked. So I know that they have what is it? Black therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called like Black Girl Therapy or something like that, where you can go online and you can, look. go to that site and you can put in what it is that you're specifically looking for. Like for me, I wanted someone who dealt with childhood sexual trauma. I wanted
Mm,
someone who dealt with grief as well. And so
mm.
my therapist has dealt, that was her specialty.
Yeah,
So, don't, I will say this, don't go to therapy to please someone else as well.
that's
don't
good.
don't don't do that. Because I found myself doing that the first time that I
Yeah,
went through therapy. It was because someone told me that I needed to go. And
that's good.
so I went to their therapist and it was not helpful at all.
Yeah,
Like I wasn't ready.
yeah,
So I would say don't push yourself into it. Go when you're ready. And let me see, I
that's
want
good.
to say, let me see, it's a site, there is definitely a site
Mm,
that you can go to that specifically for therapy. I want to make sure therapy, it's like Black Girl Therapy, I want to say.
mm.
um and also know that if your friends are going to the whatever they're dealing with, grow therapy, that's what it's called.
Mm.
So if you're looking for a therapist, you can go to Grow Therapy and you can type in, the type of therapist, that you're seeking. And if you have insurance and stuff, you can type all of that into it as well. So yeah,
That
but
is good
don't,
to
yeah,
know.
don't feel obligated to go just because your friends are going to.
Right. Yeah,
Because their journey is not your journey. What they're
that's
dealing
good.
with is not what they may be dealing with. And be mindful when you're going to therapy. You don't have to share it with everybody that you're in therapy.
That's good. That's
That's
real good.
something that's intimate.
That's real
Because some
good.
people try to use that against you.
Dang, that's good.
Yeah, some people try to use it against you. So you don't have to tell everybody that you're in therapy.
I never thought about people trying to use it against you.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah. They definitely, it's mind. I feel like sometimes that could just be mind games, because it's
Mm.
at the we're human, so we have feelings,
Right. Right. Yeah.
we go through things. And so if you react to something a certain way, oh, I thought you were going to therapy.
I
Therapy,
got
yeah,
you.
therapy must not be helping because look at
That
how you're
mess. Oh
acting.
wow.
So
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying you don't have to tell everybody that you're going to therapy because
That's
some people
good.
try to use it against you.
That is so good. I never even
Hmm.
thought about that. Wow.
Hmm. Yep.
So, one of the questions I like to ask every guest before the episode ends is if you could give the audience a mindset shift, one, and you can help them from where they are now to where you would want them to be, what would that shift look like?
That shift would look like, be nice to yourself.
Mm,
Be nice to yourself. Give yourself just as much grace as you give others.
that's good.
You are not perfect.
Mm,
You are going to make mistakes. What happened to you, it happened.
yeah.
It was not your fault.
Yes.
But what happened to you had to happen
Yeah.
so that you could become the best version of yourself.
That's good. That's
That's
really
what I was
good.
saying.
That's really good. That's a good way to close. Wow, that's really good. So that you could become your best self.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's good.
Hmm.
Drop some mic on that one. So, if people want to get connected with you outside of the podcast and the episode, where can they get connected?
So you can find me on Instagram. It is LaRasha Paul, and that's LaRoshaPaul. It's all one word. I am also on Threads at LaRasha
Yes.
Paul as well. If you are someone that likes body care products. My company is called BU Candles Co. And
Yes.
so I have body oils that have affirmations on them,
Oh
as I
wow.
believe in setting the tone for the day. So not
Mm,
only should you smell good, you should feel good too. So while
that's
you're
good.
putting on your body oils or whatever, you're saying that affirmation, affirming yourself before you go out of the door. to take on the world. So again, you can find me on all platforms there at BU Candles Co. And that is the letter B, the letter U, and it's candles with an S Co.
Wow. I definitely saw a few posts about it, and I know I need to check into it, especially because you said the affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am a lover of affirmations. I think my love language is words of affirmation. I love to tell
Yes,
myself
me
nice
too.
stuff. I love for people to tell me nice stuff. I love, write me a letter,
Yes.
a 4-page letter if I'm asking.
Yes.
Yes, write me a letter.
Yes.
And then as far as anything else, do you have anything coming up, anything going on that you would love for people to know about?
The only thing that I have coming up is I am going to be launching a mobile perfume bar. So if you're in the
Wow.
DMV area and you're someone that's looking to take your events to another level, you want
Wow.
something different, your guests will be able to create their own customized perfume. So you're
Wow.
making memories through scents. I will be speaking next month as well
Mm.
at a empowerment summit. I'm going to be speaking to the teens
Wow.
about their relationships and how God helps to shape those relationships.
Yeah.
And so that'll be happening on Saturday, April
Mm.
the 25th, and it's
Mm.
going to be at Fairfax Church of Christ here in Fairfax, Virginia. So that's all that I have coming up right now.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. I really want to know more about that mobile bar.
Yeah.
That sounds dope.
Thank you, thank you. Yep, and if
Considering.
books, if you're looking for books as well. So I do have two books on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
One is for teen girls. It's called The Beauty Within, and
Mm.
then there's a book for the boys. It's called Speaking to the King Within.
Oh, that's
And
dope.
so yeah, so if you type in my name into Amazon, which is LaRasha Paul, those two books should come up as well.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Might have to give one to one of
Yeah,
my little ones.
absolutely. Yeah, and
Yeah.
let me know if you want me to sign it. We can do it that way too.
Yeah, you just gave me some ideas because my next step for the 2027 year is we about to this podcast, we about to be traveling.
Yeah,
We about to be mobile. And
come
one of the
on.
funny things is everybody, almost everybody that I've interviewed have asked me, "Are you from the DMV?" And the funny thing is I had to Google what is the DMV because I don't know what that is. And then
DC, Maryland,
one of my people
Virginia.
one of them explained, and I was like, "Oh no!" But maybe that's what God's trying to tell me.
Well, let me know if you do. I can definitely put some stuff together. I have a couple of locations where you can host at. You just let me know, and
Oh, I'm gonna
we can
keep you
work
in my
it.
back pocket. Yes,
Yeah,
because
we
that.
can
Oh,
work on it.
we doing it. We
Yeah.
doing it. I literally just need my connections in the different states. We doing it. It's
Yeah,
on and popping.
I got you.
2027.
I
Yeah.
got you. Yep, I got you.
So I just want to say, with all of the technical difficulties that we had, I want to say thank you for not just showing up, but for fighting for this episode to
Yes.
happen.
Yes, and thank you so much for having me. Thank you, for allowing God to use you. Your series that you were doing, with just speaking with, Christian women, connecting with them and allowing them to, use your platform and y'all share it together
Yeah.
to for the betterment of God. I am
Yes.
grateful that you listen to him and
Yeah.
allow him to guide you and align you with the ones that needed to be on your platforms.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely been a journey where I've been experiencing God meet me in these conversations, whether to
Hmm.
confirm, whether to reveal, whether to help me
Hmm.
process what He's doing. I'm just, honestly, this is just a journey that I'm grateful to be on. And to have people on the platform with me feels like an honor. Like, I love that everybody wants to
Yeah.
come to the show and that we can, grow and learn together and help us.
Yes.
Literally, as the show says, we can help one another take that mindset, shift it to the next level, stop living in a place of lack, and shift over to a mindset of abundance. Yeah,
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. And again, thank you so much for having me.
it was an honor.
Yes.
What's so funny is certain people, I end up almost over talking. I'll be like, oh, I have so much more to say. But guys, we're gonna wrap this one up here, and I just want
Yes.
to say thank you guys for tuning in each week at two on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. I look forward to the next episode to come. Also, we have April lineup coming. It's dropping tomorrow. We have a lot of speakers
Yes.
coming on, and it won't just be women. We also have men that are coming on
Oh,
this month as
yay.
well.
Yay. I can't
Yes.
wait.
So y'all be waiting, be expecting. I mean, with that, I love you guys, and I hope that you have a wonderful night. And I shall wish you adieu. All right. Peace.
Yes. Bye.